There you go, Wade. Those are pretty much headed straight north. Interesting. It's a little better color than it's showing on the video, but getting it pretty good actually. Swallows are overhead up there. Can't see them on here. They're up there quite a ways. Bugs must be checking to be down here. So, thus begins another day. We'll call this one Thursday. The plan is still to hopefully get cows out today. Seems, let's see, by now, number one and Maury should have picked Ron up. For those of you that don't know, Maury is number one's fiance, aka my son-in-law. That's what I end up calling him most of the time on here. Got 5 dump trucks, and Ron, who tries to show up once a week to have a drink with me anymore, drives truck for him. He was working a job in Salem last night, yesterday, whatever, running truck and pup, and his pup's got a turntable on the front, so there's electric over-ear valves and stuff. Of course, they got air cans on the reach so they can stretch out, and it's an air can to unlock the tailgate. Well, the only function he had working on his last load when he went to unload was his turntable lock. His reach opened up and he couldn't get it to close. The tailgate wouldn't open even after they dumped all the air in the system, which, well, yeah, if you don't have a big enough bar, you're not going to overcome the weight that's on the latch. So their plan was to pick him up. They went down, picked him up, left everything down there, because they don't know if it's an issue on the truck or on the trailer, right? So the plan was, they picked him up last night. Then they were going to pick him up at home, because he lives on the way. He's on the other side of the hill this way. And they're coming from about 25 miles that direction from us. But their plan was pick him up at 5:30, so they should have been on the road for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so by now with him. And one reason I'm just letting the camera right there is that's the mama and the twins. When I saw her yesterday, she looked really empty, but both those calves are growing good. So, you know, can't argue that much. I need to go over and see if there's anything else in the barn. And Boomer was standing here rubbing her head on the gate latch. Here she goes again. Those gate latches, they feel so good. Then they plug them full of dander and they don't like to work. But Boomer's a nice girl usually. She's gonna play coy this morning. Good morning, Boomer. Good morning, Boom. Okay. She don't want to talk to me. Story of my life. Oh, that's enough for now. Get you another view with the light coming through the trees. Let's see. Those clouds clear over there, they were the ones that were right here a couple minutes ago. Alright. On with the rest of the day. Feed truck's supposed to come today too, and number one was going to bring an empty tote bag and pallet back out to fill. I don't know that she's going to get any. Oh well. I got to find a bag. This fence was all checked. Everything was good. Hadn't checked juice to it yet. Number one didn't get to this line. This is back here where we replaced the corner over there. And the end of this line was screwed up because the corner was screwed up. And she told me she tightened up 2 of these 3 wires. I just went back to this top one off 3 clicks, and it's still plenty tight. The middle one I left alone because it seemed to be all right. The bottom one, after I found this, coming back here to check juice, I went back and undid it 5 full revolutions of the tensioner. So that's roughly about 10 or 12 inches of wire that I slacked. It's low enough to get down there now, but it ruined that one. And that one over there is ruined. And she tightened up where we redid over there. There's one tensioner in line on the bottom wire. She tightened it up and pulled the insulator off the wood post down there too. So you gotta be careful how much you tighten stuff. If you're on a perfectly flat run and you don't have a dip in it, hey, you can tighten it up till you pull the posts out of the ground. I don't care. But you can't do it here. Because, well, it'll either pull these posts out of the ground or it'll tear the insulators off. More fun. But, hey, this stretch is almost ready for animals. I still got to go check the other, though. Well, that line from the feed barn down here, across the creek, up to the top of the hill, around the west end of the hayfield, clear to the back, down back by the falls, it's all good. Left side of the lane, that's all good. Going up along the creek over here, it's good to the top of the hill. I don't know what the hell's going on back there, but there's a dead short somewhere. I don't need that back there yet. I need the other side of the creek over there powered, because that's the only way there's going to be power to part of it to keep them over here for right now. And this run here, number one was checking the other day, and I still don't know what the issue was. I haven't had a chance to check it. Good power on this fence right here when she hooks it up, and it is hooked up. Good thing I didn't grab it. Maybe she figured it out. I don't know, but she had, I don't know, maybe she's looking at the wrong part of the meter, because it's got amps and it's got joules, and I really don't care about the amps so much. I care about the joules more. Well, let's see what it says over here. 3.5 joules. 3.6 joules. 3.6 joules. Not much for amps here. Usually the amps are a little higher, but that is what it is. And just because, we'll check over here. Yeah, 3.1. Now figure that one out. 3.1 is feeding to 3.5. I never figured that out either. That's lower than I like to see it, especially as dry as the ground is. But it is what it is at the moment. As long as it's hot enough to keep them apart, that's all I care about. For the most part, I didn't even know this was hooked up till right now. Before I finished this, to the left side on the other side of the bridge there, I had 4.6 on most of it. Get below 3.5, that's when you start having issues. But right now, as you can see, I mean, this is a clear spot right here because we drove through here, but the grass is up into at least the bottom wire. Some places it's up into all 3. They get that knocked down, that'll make a big difference. I used to get out and spray all that. Keep the fence rows sprayed. But that's when, I had both kids usually helping when they weren't in school. And Dad was still doing stuff. And we had another full-time hired man. And Mom did more then too. But the last 5 years, it's been 5 years since Dad did anything really. Almost 3 years since he's gone. He still did some the last couple years he was alive, but we had to help him up into the tractor or whatever, so there's a lot of things he didn't do anymore. Oh yeah, and if you noticed earlier, it was a nice day. It's cooled off about 10 degrees from what it was a little bit ago. I was sweating just riding the bike, and now I'm almost chilled. But fences are ready. I just got to move that thing out of there. Worst thing is leaving that where a bull can get to it. Dad let the cows out where it was before I got it moved one day. Broke the door handle off. There's still enough there to open it, but yeah, once in a while it's a little hard to open. Broke it off, broke deal off that helps hold the door open when you're running it. Little stuff like that. Anyway, I'll leave you with that for now. Being he's curious, his ears are always forward and looking at you. He ain't spooky, he ain't owly, he's just curious. We have the few not smart enough to follow mommy because they couldn't step over the 4x6 at the other end of the feed barn. Becky and I even pulled gates in on them and crowded them right against it, and they would not go. So they made about 10 trips running back and forth between the barns. Two of them actually made it back in there once. One right into that pole. The other one almost ran into him, fell on his butt. So I guess we know where the smart ones are. Not in here. And hey, there's that newest one. Going to town on mom. Need to catch him, take his temp, make sure he's all right. And then him and his mommy can go out with this bunch. Yeah, they'll figure it out eventually, as long as they don't go through a fence and go the wrong way. Push! Now he's got it made, as long as he don't stop. It made, but a car got in the way. He slowed down. I spun out trying to push him from there, so we backed out on the flat and start over. I'd let you watch it, but I gotta have both hands.